Hello, everybody. So it's good to be back with you guys. Happy Tuesday. I just wanted to talk about some things really briefly. One of those things is that some a trend that I've noticed when it comes to talking about the current exploits in the current administration, there seems to be this framing of it as kind of silly or circus like or even purely theatrical. And I get that for people who have to constantly report or monitor or look at this stuff, they have to do that in order to keep it light and funny for their audience, but also for their own selves and their own ability to continue to do it. I don't begrudge you, but I do think sometimes it takes the levity can take away the gravity of what is happening. And so I was reading an article on Dr. Stacey Patton's Substack. It's amazing. Everyone should subscribe. And it was about the Truth Social post that Trump put out regarding Rob Reiner's uh, death and his son stabbing him. And she goes as far as to say that he didn't write that tweet or that truth, but it still is a machinery of cruelty. And that is what really we should be paying attention to. The fact that there is an entire assembly line finding new ways to demean and harm and talk down about other people, other groups. We saw this in an example with Somalia and Somalian immigrants. We saw this with Haitian immigrants and the cats and dogs during the campaign. And that is sometimes being depicted as just a senile Trump or a growingly delusional Trump or him getting old and not lucid. And that all might be true, but it doesn't really matter at this point because power has already been attained. A narrative of cruelty and a permission structure to talk down about others in a factless manner has been normalized and continues to go unabashed. That's why I sometimes find myself getting a little bit frustrated when people are talking about these events with a sort of levity or seeming unseriousness. And one way I noticed this was in the first Trump term, and that still happens today. People will say, oh, there's a lot of insanity or craziness. And yes, it is insane, it is crazy, but sometimes it's just raw cruelty, and we just need to call it out for that, for what it is. That is what it is. It's cruelty directed at otherized groups because there is political capital in it. And the reasons and the truth and the structures behind why there's political capital in weaponized cruelty, that is something that may be an unflattering thing to look at when it comes to American society or American history, but it's a real thing and it has become a weakness and a destabilizing force in our body politic. And we can't really reckon with it unless we name it. And so that's why I really appreciate this article, because that those comments from Trump, lucid or not lucid, still reflect a culture and machinery of hatred that is being weaponized day in and day out in a still largely successful manner because it's maintained the highest office in the White House and has dictated norms and people's ability to speak up for others through a culture of fear and a culture of punitive judgment and condemnation if someone chooses to do the right thing. Second thing I want to talk about is that for the black population, there is a spike in joblessness, and that is not because of laziness or some other stereotypical reason. It's by design. It's by the fact that people voted for this because they believed it would happen to others. And when people say, oh, they're voting out of their interest, no, sometimes people are voting in their interest. It's not too complex, especially if you're a person of color, to understand that people are raised and curated in a culture that otherizes others, and also makes it known that there's a hierarchy in America, and that hierarchy is supposed to work a certain way. And when that hierarchy seems to not be working a certain way, then ultimately destructive methods need to be used in order to reinforce that hierarchy. And we've seen that throughout American history with black communities being bombed, raided, and destroyed because of economic success or because of speaking out politically. It's not new to America. Just because we had the civil rights movement, the second reconstruction, and people want to believe that we live in this post-racial world, that racism ended at some point, that is not the real story. We see that with 600,000 black women being kicked out of the workforce. That was intentional. That was by design because people voted to sometimes harm others in the name of a learned hierarchy. Whether that hierarchy is really used as a way to divide and conquer is another study, but because they believe in that hierarchy, that means that the hierarchy continues to persist. And that is again where some people try to ascribe irrationality to some of the support for this current administration. It's not very irrational. It's very straightforward. It's just that the truth is sometimes hard to reckon with because it recolors your world and makes you understand the environment around you in a different but clearer manner. So, on that note, happy Tuesday. And I hope you find something you enjoy doing tonight that you love. Watch your favorite movie or a movie, connect with your family members, bake some cookies, make some eggnog, and just enjoy the evening. Like and subscribe. Follow me at stewonthis.com. And we have a special holiday discount going on, 30% off for a full year of Stew on This. So take advantage. The offer ends on January 6th. And we're trying to get to 100 paid subscribers and get into bestseller status. So if you can help us do that, that would be lovely. And that is all I have for you today. So I hope you have a great evening. Much love. Stay sane, stay cool, enjoy the simple things. Life is still beautiful, and continue to be historically aware. Bye.